our programs, and it helps us provide the resources that we need to keep the programs going, especially with the healthy families when we do our depot. We provide the diapers and the wipes and all the necessities, essential things that our families need, as well as it helps us provide other resources that we need. So yeah, and our funding comes three ways. We get the funding from our fundraisers, and the fundraisers we've done, like I said, was the May Gala, which did not happen, and then we do the Dragon Boat race. So if you've ever had the opportunity to participate in that, or you're not familiar with it, it is an event that we do every September, the weekend after Labor Day. And we also get funding from grants, foundations, as well as state money for a lot of our programs. So anyways, again, any amount would help.
Right. Thank you, Lisa. And just so you know, again, Dunebrook is 30 years old, and because I think what we do, our mission, and the reality of our work is so important, we have survived a lot of things financially because of those three avenues. One, the state funding, but two is really grants, and Pam Henderson is here with us also, who is our grant writer, who's fabulous, and really you, the public, who see what we do and why it's so impactful and so powerful for the entire community. When you talk about child abuse, it raises the bar of the problems that child abuse causes. So we thank you, and hopefully, if you're able, we'd love to see a donation. Thank you so much. So, Tom Powley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Tom has been on the board for how long now, Tom?
Year and a half, 2 years?
Year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah,
Tom has been wonderful. So, honestly, Tom has brought so much life and information and talent to our board. We're very appreciative. So maybe, Tom, you could start out by talking a little bit about you and your background and your family. And
Absolutely. Well, before we get into all that, as Lisa was saying, with the ability to donate through the live stream, First Source Bank is going to do a match for every dollar. So as she said, $5, $10, whatever you're able to give, First Source is going to double that up to $250.
Thank you.
Again, you can donate through the Facebook page or the Dunebrook website, so I definitely encourage anybody to do so.
Wow,
Thank
that's
you,
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for Source. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
About myself, my name is Tom Powley. I'm the branch manager for First Source Bank out of LaPorte on Boyd Boulevard. I am married, have 2 kids. We have 2 beautiful babies. They're 10 and a half months old now. They're twins, a boy and a girl, Cooper and Clara. Outside of that, I've been with the bank for 3 years as of yesterday, actually.
Wow,
And as Jean Ann said, I'm on the board for, I think, about 2 years in July, if I think about it. Outside of that, some other community involvement. I'm on the board of directors for Junior Achievement of LaPorte County, and member of the LaPorte Rotary Club and Redevelopment Commission for City of LaPorte. So,
That's wonderful, Tom.
Really, any way that I can try to give back, I try to.
Right.
So,
Awesome. Well, and Tom, thank you. I know First Source has a very good reputation for giving back to the community. Years ago, they provided through a hefty grant. Westville Little School has a playground that we collaborate with Westville School and their Westville Little School, and they provided much needed grant money for the playground equipment, and Tom has been great. So thank you for giving us the matching funds.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Tom, the key word, twins.
Yeah.
You have twins.
Yeah.
My goodness.
They keep us busy.
And ironically, Sarah, who will be joining us soon, also has twins. But maybe, Tom, could you tell us a little bit about what it was like initially when you had the babies and some of the challenges, and when you talk parenting tips, what's would be some parenting tips you might give?
Yeah, absolutely. So with having twins, obviously it keeps us busy. As Sarah, I'm sure you agree. Most recently, with the whole COVID pandemic going on, my wife is a 3rd grade teacher at Indian Trail Elementary, so she's been working from home. I've still been going into work every single day, so bless my wife, she's wonderful. Still working a full-time job and raising 2 babies essentially every day by herself.
Right.
She's done a great job of it. I think the hardest part for her has been keeping her sanity, and you just got to take every day at a time. One of the biggest things that she does is just for her own mental health, you have to really put a focus and, take any time that you can, if even 15, 20 minutes, take that time for yourself. And whether that be she just sit around and play on her phone, watch some TV. She has different crafts that she's been working on, and that helps relieve some stress. But you have to do that, and whether it's when the babies are sleeping or she waits till I get home and we put them to bed. But just taking a couple minutes to herself to unwind and reset herself, it's huge. Right. Outside of that, with the babies, keeping them stimulated any way that we can. We have different crafts that we've been doing. My wife has done some painting projects. She's made like goop or something, I don't know, but just something for them to play with every now and then. She even made like little Easter eggs and filled them with rice or something and taped them up in little shakers, just something different for them to play with. And they have fun putting them together too. So different little things like that. And then the key is we've been stuck in the house, nothing to do, nowhere to go. So anytime that she can, get out of the house. If it's just a walk around the block, if it's a little cold, bundle them up, and just get out of the house. It helps reset and refresh everybody. Get some fresh air, see something new. And then just like this last weekend, she went out shopping with her mother. So the babies and I, we spent all day yesterday outside. Throw a blanket in her backyard and have some different toys, and it was fun.
That's great. That's great.
That's right. So what I hear you saying, one, overall, is take care of yourself. Give, Tom, we talked about this, and even 10 minutes a day, just to yourself, whether it's locked in your bedroom with no one bothering you, with another parent watching the children, that's so important. And crafts and getting out of the house and sharing your stories with others who are going through the same thing, so you don't feel so alone. Sometimes I think the expectations of parents are, that you're supposed to be this perfect parent, when some days it's really like, why did I do this? I'm exhausted. This is so hard. Everything from little problems to big problems. Yeah,
my poor wife, she's spent her days during this pandemic of, she feels like she either has to give it all to be a good teacher or give it all to be a good mother. And it's hard for her to accept that she can do both and do it well, and you don't have to be absolutely perfect at both. It's okay. The babies are still happy and healthy.
That's a huge.
She's still getting everything done for her e-learning, and it's okay. She's doing great. So.
And I do think, especially with the quarantine, we've talked about the fact that with the e-learning, which has been a challenge for many, is that you don't have to be perfect. It's not perfect. We're all muddling through, doing the best we can. And as you said, Tom, that's okay. We're all trying to balance work, home, not feeling like we do any of it totally well. Well, we do. But if you need help, to ask for help. I think that's the other thing.
And stay connected. Stay connected with people and the resources. Yes.
Right. And that is where you can go to dunebrook.org and look at our resources and follow this Facebook page, because there are crafts and so forth. Great, Tom. And again, thank you to First Source, Tom, for their support, not only today with the matching funds. So hopefully we'll get some donations to match that $250.
Yes, absolutely.
Again, years ago with Westville Little School, and they just are passionate about our same mission. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything else, Tom, you want to?
I'll talk a little bit about First Source Bank at the time, and what we've been doing through the pandemic.
Great.
Banking has changed a little bit since I believe we officially locked our lobby doors March 23rd.
Okay.
So we're a couple months into this now.
Right.
As there's some banks that are announcing that they're going to start, swinging the doors wide open. First Source is taking the stance that we're going to stay as is. The theory behind it is we can still do anything that we have to do. So whether that's curbside banking, we have customers that call and they need to open a new account. We can set appointments where they can come in. We're limiting how many people are in our lobby at any given time, just to keep customers safe and keep our staff safe. And then that way we can really control our environment. So we do curbside banking. We can run out and do everything, out in the parking lot, basically. For a lot of our commercial clients that get their large change orders, that's what we're doing too. They drop it off and we run out and we bring their change. If they have really big deposits, we grab it from them, take it back out. So that's working really well. outside of that, like I said, we can still do anything we have to. So if there's things where you absolutely have to come into the branch, like accessing your safe box, absolutely, we're not going to tell you no. So
If I
just
wanted
call.
to do that, Tom, would be a good idea for me to call you
Yeah.
first, call the branch,
Yep.
and say, this is what I need. You know, there's curbside service. So, you know, I am just so thankful that First Source is doing that and
Yeah.
practicing good safe distancing, because I think this is going to be a long haul for a while.
It is.
Yeah.
And that is, it sounds like you're getting the business done that has to be done, but you're doing it safely.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to try and come up with some creative ways to do banking as well. You know, with like you said, it's not going away anytime soon, and we're prepared for it. So you know, we're gonna start experimenting. One thing that I have off the top of my head is, you know, having somebody out in the drive-through, like physically standing there.
Oh, nice.
Because at my branch, we're one of our busier branches, and we're unfortunate in the fact that we only have 2 drive-through lanes. So things can get backed up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So we're going to start experimenting with having somebody out there to, you know, help people fill out their tickets ahead of time. You know, we can pull people out of line if they're just needing something that we can do curbside, for example.
That's a great idea.
So, you know,
Yeah.
trying to limit our wait times, and you know, anybody that's been stuck in their lane will
And
appreciate
people would
that.
be very appreciative of that,
Yeah.
I think, you know, because they're not used to being in line for that.
Right.
Too long.
Yeah.
Just having some sort of face-to-face interaction will
sure.
be nice. And,
Yeah.
Sure.
you know,
And what are your hours, Tom, at the branch?
yeah, the branch, our drive-through is open from 8:30 to 6,
8:30 to 6.
Mhm.
That's great.
Monday
Yeah.
through Friday, and then 8:30 to noon on Saturdays.
8:30 to
Yeah.
noon on Saturday. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom, so
Yeah,
very
that's
much.
great.
Yeah.
That's
Good,
awesome.
good. So our next guest, who also has twins, Sarah, you want to come on up? We'll try to be social distance here. Okay. Is Sara Hoyt, and Sarah, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Sarah is a staff member here, as we said, at Dunebrook, and is the coordinator of our public education program. And she is unbelievably talented in the fact that she can speak to children about how to empower themselves and not allow any inappropriate touch. So maybe, Sarah, you can start off by saying a little bit about yourself and your family and the girls. And
So yes, I'm the public education coordinator for Dunebrook. I've been here for 7.5 years. And so what my job is, I provide abuse prevention education, specifically sexual abuse prevention education to LaPorte, Porter, and Stark County. So I go into the schools and I use our body safety program, Safer Smarter Kids and Safer Smarter Teens, as well as our Stewards of Children program, to help educate children and adults on how to recognize and respond to the potential threat of sexual abuse, but also to empower them to understand that their bodies belong to them and how to set healthy boundaries. So.
And of course, every parent's concern for their children when they're not in sight is, are they okay? Are they okay physically, emotionally, otherwise? So Sarah, to talk about this issue, which she's very, has a lot of integrity and respect when she talks about this issue, and it is age appropriate, right, Sarah?
Yes.
So, you know, you're talking to high schoolers very different than you're talking to middle schoolers or even younger. So Sarah's program is designed appropriately for the schools.
Right. It grows with the kids, and our goal has always been that we go to the schools every year, starting in kindergarten and growing with them all the way up until they graduate high school.
Great. And have there not been cases that where, because how many children did you say?
We were fortunate enough to serve 62 schools this year, which amounted to almost 29,000 students and about 1,200 teachers. So it was a great year. Unfortunately, it did get cut short because of everything that's going on. So there were some schools in March, April, and May that we didn't get to go to, but you know, we're on track to pick up next year. You know, we might have to change things a little bit, but you know, we still want to be there in the schools for the students and the teachers, sending this message.
Great. And I know Sarah talks about the fact that if a youngster hears this 1 year, say they're in 3rd grade, and they're a little bit too nervous to talk about it, when they hear about it again in 4th grade and 5th grade, then maybe they'll have the courage to come forward and say, something inappropriate happened to me or is happening in my home. And it hasn't been cases where they've been prosecuted, Sarah, where we know because they heard you?
Yeah, we've definitely, given that the CAC is here at Dunebrook, there have definitely been children that have come through that, they've heard the presentation and maybe that helped them recognize that there's something going on, they need to talk to somebody. Consistency is such a big part of this, is that we're there every year, same message, being available to them as well. I think one of the most important statistics that I keep close to me is that 95% of child maltreatment is preventable through education, and that's what we're doing. Because I think one of the main things is this is a really hard topic, and it's hard to talk about at home, and so we want to be there to give the tools to children and adults to recognize and respond if something's going on. So.
Right, thank you. And as a therapist, what I hear Sarah saying too is it empowers children. It's a green light to say, something inappropriate happened to me. I didn't know what to do with it. I can talk about it. Kids have so many reasons why, and maybe, Sarah, what are some of the reasons why kids don't talk about if something inappropriate happens?
Well, I think given that 90% of victims know their perpetrator, that can create a big barrier for, why they might not tell. Because maybe they know the person, they trust the person, they care about the person. Another reason I think we see is that they don't know who to talk to. So a big part of our presentations, K through 12, is helping kids recognize who trusted adults are in their life. And we talk extensively about, whether that's your teacher, your class aide, or your principal, or your school nurse, and just giving kids an idea of who outside their home are available to them, and really reinforcing that to them. Because I think teachers especially are sometimes the first line of defense. Because they see them every day, they build relationships with them, they recognize when there's changes in the behavior, which could, be something's going on. So I think that's a really important part of our program, is just helping kids identify who they can talk to, because that is one of the reasons why they might not come and tell.
Right. And of course, as we all know, especially because I think in the last, 5-10 years, sexual abuse, even with adults, it ruins lives. And if you can educate and prevent it from happening, that's Sarah's goal. It is life-changing. Because when you have children, I know Pam talks about this in grants, that when you have children that have been any kind of physical or sexual abuse or neglect, emotional neglect, it has negative effects. They have problems in school, they have discipline problems, maybe dropping out, maybe substance abuse as an adult. There's this black shadow cloud over their head that affects everything in their life. So what Sarah does is so important and so powerful and life-changing.
Well, it is. I'm very passionate about our body safety program. I genuinely believe in its worth, and I like going to schools. I like talking to kids. I like, again, it's a tough conversation, but it's a necessary one. And our body safety program, I look at it as it works prevention in two ways. Hopefully preventing it from ever happening to a child, but also maybe to prevent it from continuing to happen. So.
And Sarah, given our quarantine and COVID-19, Sarah's actually made a video that hopefully the schools can interject come fall, whether they're in school or not in school, that we can do the body safety somewhat virtually. And I know Sarah has classes for adults, not only the Stewards program. You want to talk a little bit about that, Sarah?
Our Stewards of Children program, which is our adult prevention program, that's usually done in a face-to-face setting, but we are going to be offering that virtually. So I know a lot of you might be familiar with Zoom. That's one way that we're going to offer our Stewards program training, is through a Zoom conference. So we've got our first one coming up in a couple weeks. I got Megan to help me, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm really excited that I think that we can still get the value of that, even though we're not face to face, but through something like Zoom.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. That's
Absolutely.
great. So to switch a little bit from your work role here at Dunebrook and public ed to maybe mom role of twins. Now Tom's children are 10 and a half months, and Sarah's children are 3 years.
We're going to be 3 in June.
So Sarah, if you could give some, parenting tips to parents given the quarantine, what have been the challenges and what are some of the things that work maybe for you?
Well, I think, Tom, probably pretty much just hit it on the head. It's a lot of it, is the stress of feeling like, am I doing a good enough job? And I think that, to be honest with you, that was one of the things that I struggled with was, I got to do work, but I also need to pay attention to my girls. I want to give them, everything that I can. And there were just days that I finally realized that, you know what, I'm doing a good job. They're loved, they're fed, they're cared about. I am stressed, but I know other people are stressed too. And I think it's important to just recognize that you're not alone. Yeah. And to take 15 minutes and, whatever that looks like, go for a walk, just sit for a moment, that it's just absolutely critical, so that you don't get overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. And again, you're doing a good job, and you need to remind yourself that you're doing a good job.
Right.
So.
Right. I always think of, that story that if you're in an airplane and it's having, a problem, you put the mask on yourself and then your child. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, what both Sarah and Tom are saying is you have to take care of yourself as a parent. Yeah. And if that's 10, 15 minutes a day, do that. Because when you're happier, you're calmer, and then you can deal with the child.
Exactly.
Or work with, or support, or help your children.
Absolutely. And I think that for, parents out there that still have nap time happening, I think for some of us working from home that we think nap time happens like we have to get everything done right there. Right. And you got that 2-hour window that you need to get your work done, you need to clean the house, you need to do laundry, all the things that you couldn't do when they were awake. But I think it's important that, when they lay down, make sure to take a second for yourself too. Yeah. Don't just dive right into the next thing that needs to be done, because I think that that's how you can easily get overwhelmed. I mean, it is a great time to get work and housework done, but again, just take a second, before you dive into those things, because it's easy to get overwhelmed with already a very stressful situation.
And I think that's a social stigma we have in our society, that we have to be perfect. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about some of you, but grew up that maybe you don't take so much time for yourself because that's selfish. Yeah. But when in fact for the whole family system, it's so important to take time for yourself. So I love that you both are saying that. Good. Anything else there for tips for moms at home that you can?
The outdoors, we try and get out as much as possible. When it was colder, we bundled up. They wore their snowsuits a lot in March, even though there wasn't any snow. But I think that fresh air and that change of scenery is so important for everybody. The adults and the kids. And we don't live in an area where we can, walk down the street because we live in the country, so it's really busy. But, we walk in the yard and we find things to pick up. But it's that outdoors is huge. And now that the weather's breaking, thank goodness, it makes it even more enjoyable.
That's great. And I know we talked in the Healthy Families program. We bring our home visitors come to the families, again, free of charge, once a week, and now they're doing it virtually, but reading to the child.
Yes.
We have grants where we bring new books to every family once a week. So, Sarah, maybe and Tom, about how important it is to read to your children?
Mm-hmm. We read at least 3 times a day, just because, and I think that at the age, they really enjoy 3 and 2, really enjoy picking out their books, and so they feel special and empowered that they got to pick that book and now mommy's going to read it. So reading is such a simple thing that has such incredible benefits for your child's development. So we try and read as much as possible.
Tom, anything?
Same in my household. My wife is a little bit of a book nut, but that's okay for her teacher.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're to the point now where they won't go to sleep unless they read their bedtime book.
It's a routine.
Yes. Yep.
And it feels like, so 10 and a half months old, they've only really been engaged with books for the last 2 months or so. But we've been trying to read, since day one, whether they're paying attention or not. But yeah, it's just a great way to bond with them,
right.
Having the book in front of them, that you're only focused on the baby in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's great.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, and I think another theme that you both have talked about today, and we old parents here, is, if you're having a problem, talk to someone about it.
Absolutely.
Either talk to other family, go online. Megan's done a wonderful job with crafts that you can do. Sarah even did a video of an outdoor activity with her children. So go online, and you don't have to go to the store to buy crafts. It can be things in their home.
Yes.
I think, Tom, you talked about your wife doing some craft with kids.
Yeah.
Even when they're that young.
Yeah, I think even the LaPorte County Library, I think they have curbside pickup where you can order different crafts.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
wow.
my wife ordered one right before they closed down, so we didn't actually get to get it. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can. There are age appropriate crafts that you can.
Wonderful.
That is
pick
great
up.
news.
Yeah. LaPorte Library,
So-
great resource. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we've been paying. I mean, I think sometimes parents feel like they have to go and buy all this stuff in order to entertain their kids. But we've painted rocks, we've painted pine cones, we've painted the tree. I mean, whatever we can find, and it's stimulating, and that's what's important. It's not what you're using; it's how you're using it. So.
Great. Sarah and Tom, thank you so much. Lisa, thank you. Megan, Pam. Are there any questions, Megan or Pam? No questions? We're all good today? All right. Well, again, Dunebrook's Tuesday at 10 will resume next week, and with more topics on parenting and how we can support you as parents in the community on educating our families on the support of being a good parent. And every parent has something they do well. It's just us sharing with each other information that can make that job a little bit easier. So thank you for joining us today. Again, as Lisa talked about, if you want to donate, whoop, whoop. Tom, again, First Source, thank you so much. Sarah, thank you for your passion and what you do. Is there anything else that anyone...
I was just going to say, make sure that you check out our Facebook page to see who our upcoming guests will be. Next week, we'll have Jenny Lee Hayes from the Michigan City Economics Development. Looking forward to having her. She also is a young mom who has a 2-year-old, I believe, at home. And so check out our Facebook page to see who is coming up. And if you're interested in being on our show, reach out to me and let me know. I'd be happy to find a spot for you. And we really appreciate this. I mean, I think this is another great way of connecting with people. So, and I just want to again say thank you to Tom and Sarah for being here with us and enjoying this day.
Great. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day, a great rest of your week. Please be safe with social distancing, and also be kind to yourself.
Yes.
As Sarah and Tom are telling us, it's so important. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others, and have a great week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.